All right, kids. In March of 1936, a photographer by the name of Dorothea Lange was taking pictures in Pomo, California, when she came across a woman that claimed that she was 32 years old, had 3 kids, and they were living on frozen vegetables and birds that the children had killed. Plus, she had just sold the tires from her car to buy food. Lange would later say, "I saw and approached the hungry and desperate mother as if drawn by a magnet, and then took a picture of her and her family." That photo came to be known as Migrant Mother and still symbolizes the hunger, poverty, and hopelessness endured by so many Americans during the Great Depression. Now, it's been 90 years since, and these United States continue to use images to express the desperate needs of Americans.
What you mean it ain't working? Run it again. This is my food. I need this food.
Ma'am, it keeps declining. It says the
They
account's
took my
inactive.
EBT. Y'all just gonna let me starve? I got
Ma'am,
kids
let's
at
step to the
home.
side and see what's going on.
That's fake. You mean to tell me nobody was walking around in the background of that Walmart wearing suspenders with assless chaps? Get real. It's AI slop used by racists depicting black women complaining about losing their SNAP benefits and or selling them for cash. This, of course, is taking place while Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program benefits are in jeopardy during and after the ongoing government shutdown, which is what we're going to talk about today.
Y'all hear me? Because of this government shutdown, they telling me I can't use my EBT in November. I got 7 kids with 7 men. 7! And that's the taxpayer's responsibility, okay?
I'll include a link to a video below explaining how to recognize AI like this for what it is. Not for you though, for Fox News. One of their culture news writers didn't notice that Sora is being used for the sake of rage bait. They fell for it, changed their headline, updated the editor's note, but not before Fox News contributor Brett Cooper went on her YouTube channel and said, that is her, the not real woman's, responsibility. It is not the American taxpayers' fault that you have 7 baby daddies who will not step up and help you pay the grocery bills. Whether conservatives actually believe what's created with clankers is real or not doesn't matter in this case, because since 1936, a stereotypical welfare recipient went from a rural American white woman displaced by the Dust Bowl to this.
Right now, it's their constituents, a lot of them that in some of these inner cities that that's going to need SNAP to survive, and they're getting a lot of calls, and the pressure is going to be put on them. A lot of people need to go back to work. A lot of young men that are on SNAP that should be working.
Inner city citizens who vote Democrat and aren't willing to work. So, in Tommy Tuberville's dog whistles there, he made sure to be inclusive enough to mention men on SNAP who need to work as a wink and a nod to the welfare state destroying the black nuclear family thing that Republicans complain about but never did anything for. If you didn't know, Tommy Tuberville is a U.S. Senator out of Alabama, a state where 14 to 15% of the population relies on SNAP benefits and ranks 40-something in job opportunities, happiness, and education. Kind of seems like we all gotta watch who we elect into office. Ain't that right?
And today, I will announce that I will be the future governor of the great state of Alabama.
There we go.
That's double the Tubbers. One thing that I love about my channel is that someone watching right now is wondering if that weirdo Wiggins spent an unnecessary amount of time saving sound bites from a mediocre ex-football coach turned politician in particular for a video that's supposed to be about handouts from the government. And that's an oddly specific yet accurate question that I'm having you ask in the script that I wrote. Yeah, we'll focus on Tuberville, seeing how one single senator can hold up hundreds of military nominations and promotions. Him. So you don't even have to imagine what an ignorance of elected officials has tried to do to our social safety net this season, which should be called the fall of Tubervilles. When the longest government shutdown in American history began last month in October, the Trump administration initially said it would not fund the SNAP program during said shutdown. After 2 federal judges deemed their refusal to provide the benefits to be unlawful, the administration said it will provide partial payments only. Then 4547 begged the Supreme Court to stop the court orders requiring payment of full November SNAP benefits. The highest court in the land, who get their munchies for free and for a lifetime, gave them what they wanted and temporarily blocked food aid payments to 42 million Americans. Not only that, but when I was about to record this episode, I saw that Trump officials demanded that states undo the work that they already started doing to send full food assistance. All along, Republicans have been blaming Democrats for the government shutdown, despite controlling the House, Senate, and presidency. With that said, It's not like the GOP hasn't been chomping at the bit to get rid of food stamps.
1.3
food stamps.
trillion goes to food stamps.
Yes.
Now, if we need to start cutting, and you know that Doge Group's going to start looking at that, people got to go back to work. We need to take care of the elderly, the veterans, people with illnesses, but everybody else got to go back to work. We're not going to make it.
You go back to work, and also that's all the process. The ones pushing that are all the food companies on the ultra processed food.
He has said this nonsense before. That interview was from last year, and yes, the ultra-processed foods is unfortunately all the food that I like, said Steve Bannon, a man who looks like his first meaningful relationship was with Little Debbie. And you would hope that the guy who has stock in McDonald's would know that people who receive SNAP benefits do work. I mean, McDonald's is one of the employers with the largest estimated number of SNAP recipients. Besides, the average McDonald's employee is a 23-year-old white woman, a Sweeney of supremacists. And just in case anybody thinks fast food restaurant jobs are for teens, it's not like Mickey D's closes during school hours. See how quick his argument tumbles? When two Alabama Chick-fil-A's, a transphobe of the Lord's Chicken, closed back in August of 2021, those restaurants said it was due to a hiring crisis with far less job applicants or people not showing up for their interviews. A staffing crisis for a limited time from both high school and university students returning back to school and football/holiday season quickly approaching, they said. Tuberville took that as an opportunity to say the Biden administration continues incentivizing people to sit on the sidelines instead of encouraging them to rejoin the workforce. He might have been referring to a $300 a week temporary federal subsidy as part of Biden's American Rescue Plan for those who lost their jobs. The thing about that is, even though the emergency federal unemployment insurance benefits were supposed to last until September of that year, Republican Governor of Alabama, Kay Ivey, announced in May that the state would opt out of them as of June 19th. So, why were adults not filling positions at Chick-fil-A? Well, a CNBC report from 2021 noted that 36% of unemployed workers had rejected job offers because the salary was too low and 35% because of concerns about COVID-19. Tuberville retweeted this chart featuring price differences from the end of 2019 to May of 2024 for McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, and Taco Bell, claiming Bidenomics has turned the dollar menu into the $5 menu. And a year and a half later, those prices are either the same or worse. I'm not even going to fact check that. In June of 2023, he wrote, "Great to see Alabama receive crucial funding to boost ongoing broadband efforts," sharing an article about the $1.4 billion going to Alabama for expanded broadband access. And by now, you know where this is going. Tommy Tuberville just happened to be one of the 30 Republicans who voted against the Broadband Equity Access and Deployment Program. The other Senate Republican also voted against it. I don't think he reads what comes across his desk.
Anything that we can do for the future of our young people, because they're our number one commodity, we need to have more kids. We need to have an opportunity to do that. And I thought this was the right thing to do. But
IVF is used to have more children, and right now IVF services are paused at some of the clinics in Alabama. Aren't you concerned that this could impact people who are trying to have kids?
Well, that's for another conversation. I'd have to look at the entire bill and how it's written. I have not seen it.
Supreme Court decision.
Well, I know that, but I'd have to look. I haven't looked at it. But this is state issue.
Women aren't going to be able to have IVF treatments already in some places.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
What do you say to them?
Unfortunate.
A sitting U.S. senator called children a commodity. He didn't seem to understand how IVF would give him the more kids that he wants and confused a bill for a Supreme Court decision. He struggled with the concept that white nationalists are racist. He wanted to simply call them Americans, like these former D-average students can't be all the above.
You said a white nationalist is an American, but a white nationalist is someone who believes horrific things. Do you really think that's someone who should be serving in the military?
Well, that's just a name that has been given. I mean,
It's not.
Listen,
It's a real definition. There's real concerns
so if
about
you're going to do away
extremism.
with most white people in this country out of the military, we got huge problems.
According to Rolling Stone, one Republican said this about Tuberville: "I do not believe that he is a racist at all. I really believe that he maybe doesn't have an understanding of the English language." And again, all the above.
Democratic Party, they have a majority. They could stop this crime today. Some people say, well, they're soft on crime. No, they're not soft on crime. They're pro-crime. They want crime. They want crime because they want to take over what you got. They want to control what you have. They want reparation because they think the people that do the crime are owed that. They are not owed that.
A dog whistle louder than a truck horn. He acknowledges what a majority party in power can do. And it's a no on repairing one group, but a yes to the big, beautiful bill to make America great again. He said that Trump's tariffs are the only shot at getting our country back. Tariffs have set U.S. farmers back. Could the federal government pay them with the money being made through tariffs? Would that essentially be giving them their money back? How is a stimulus or any of this not socialism? A $40 billion bailout was given to Argentina, and their president was dancing on stage at Mar-a-Lago in full view of people who are being denied Little Debbies by people who smile when their constituents lose benefits, like Little Debbie. Oh, and there's no way this man isn't dancing to different songs with different beats being played every 2 seconds. That's the only way his rhythm syncs up. A former college football coach, current U.S. Senator, and future governor probably definitely, who doesn't actually live in Alabama, is the face, well, a face, that you should picture with this stop foreign aid so we can take care of our own but doesn't mind children starving memes like this. Don't forget, he wants more kids. American kids. White American kids that aren't created via IVF and he doesn't have to feed. Imagine slashing SNAP, the program that helps children in the US not go hungry while sending billions in weapons to another country to kill other children. And of course, it's not just him. I found most of the clips I used in this episode when looking for a quote that I could have sworn came out of Tommy Tuberville's mouth.
But also with a mandatory minimum wage of $15, even the government says that nearly 4 million people will lose their jobs. And the people who lose their jobs first when you hike up the minimum wage are black teenagers. So, why does Joe Biden hate black teenagers should be the question. Why does Joe Biden want to destroy all of these jobs?
It's worth a couple of losers scamming the system to make sure people in need don't go without. And sometimes it feels like in the US, it's the opposite. A few people scam and we make sure many go without. Losers. Anybody else notice that white America hasn't been incentivized to stay on the sidelines after centuries of receiving the most handouts from the government? The Naturalization Act provided citizenship. The Indian Removal Act eliminated competition. And multiple Homestead Acts gave them land and housing. Soon after the migrant mother photos were published in the San Francisco News, the US government announced it was sending 20,000 pounds of food to the Pea Pickers campsite. However, the mystery woman was no longer around to benefit from it. Decades later, Florence Owens Thompson revealed herself as a migrant mother. Turns out, she was Native American, not white. Linda Taylor, so-called welfare queen, was racially complex. It's interesting how this woman's identity led to Democrats lending a helping hand, and this woman's image led to Republicans limiting what's available. Bill Clinton changed welfare as we know it, and as we speak, the Dems are making a deal to end the government shutdown. They caved. Other countries will see us as the ones in need. That is, if we don't donate to local food banks, volunteer, organize, check in with neighbors, make community meals, look up mutual aid groups. However, none of this can replace a social safety net. Keep the pressure on for replenished and robust SNAP benefits. Also, vote. Make sure that the Tommy Tubervilles of the world aren't elected, and we're gonna be all right.